Hello, welcome to Mindset to Results. And today our guest is Ralph Velasco. He is professional tour organizer and also entrepreneur. He is author of the book 60 Affirmations for Travelers, and his second book is 60 Gratitudes for Travelers. He is also professional travel photographer and YouTube creator. So it is interesting topic which is going to happen today. And welcome, Ralph, to the studio.
Great. Thank you very much for having me, Elena.
You are most welcome. Tell me, please, a little bit your story, how you became a professional travel photographer, and how did you find your passion to travel and organizing international tours?
Well, it started a long time ago when I was 15 years old and I was studying in Spain for a summer. And I was pretty much hooked on travel since then. The year after, I was a volunteer in Peru. The year after that, I was a volunteer in Venezuela. And the summer after that, I studied in Mexico City. So for 4 summers straight, I was a month and a half or 2 months in each of these countries. And so I was really hooked on travel from then on, and especially Europe. I always wanted to try to figure out a way to make a living from travel and photography because I was always interested in it. But it just never happened for a long, long time. And I always say it only took me 45 years to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, but most people never do. And so I was happy that I even figured that out at 45. And so I think it was a combination of the internet, digital photography, social media. It was this perfect storm of things coming together that would allow me to create trips around digital photography. So I started teaching people how to use their new digital devices. And with the internet, I was able to market them, and social media was free marketing as well. Now we've got podcasts. So all these wonderful things came together that allowed me to get the word out about it. And back in 2004, I was getting ready to um, make a decision if I wanted to sign a new lease, a 5-year lease on the restaurant that I owned, or if I wanted to do something else and sell the business. So I literally took a yellow pad, and on the left side, I wrote all the negatives about the restaurant business. I had to have a restaurant space that cost a lot of money every month. I had employees. I was selling something that people consumed and could get sick on. And so I said, what are the opposite of those things? Well, I just want to work on my own from my laptop. And this was kind of before the idea of digital nomads was even a thing back in 2004. I wanted no employees. I wanted to work for myself from anywhere in the world. And I didn't want to sell something that people were consuming and that could potentially make them sick. So that was the dawn of this business, and didn't happen right away. I moved to California, where I was a financial advisor for about 3 years as I was starting this business little by little. And then in 2008, September, we all know what happened then. That was the financial crisis. And I said, my business is down 95% in the financial services business. I've got a little bit of a following already after 3 years of doing digital photography teaching part time. Why don't I just go all in, burn all the bridges? And from that day on, I've been full time, and now it's been about 16 years.
Wow, amazing story. I really love to meet people who find their passion and just go for that because usually what people think that they have to work and do something to pay their bills and something that they really love to do, they think that it is just can be part of their hobby. And I think that people who really just go after what they love to do, they have to be brave because they have to believe in themselves that it is possible. Yes. And not just thinking that, oh, it is something I can do when I have free time after my work. Just to go fully after something that you really love to do. Um, I really like to to speak this with such people and know their stories. And your story is one of these very interesting and rare people, I would say, because some people like you, it is rare that they will find something and just decide that this is what they want to do.
Yeah, and I think it was really important, as I said, to burn all the bridges, to leave the fact that there was nothing really to fall back on. I couldn't, oh well, if this doesn't work out, I can do this or that. No, I wanted to be all in, and and that's when you make things happen.
Exactly. No plan B. No
Yep,
plan B.
that's
Only
right.
plan A, and totally focus and seeing yourself as it already happened. How it helped you. I think that the only reason why people can go after their dreams is that they believe in themselves and they understand that somehow, even they don't know all the journey how they will get there, and it can be scaring, right, because they don't know all the steps, but they, because they have that passion that gives them insight, inspiration, and just moves them to do every day whatever it takes, and finally they just get where they want it.
That's right. Yeah, you have to know what the goal is. I wanted to be a travel photographer and to make a living from travel. That was my goal. And then I just had to figure out how to get there incrementally. So I started out small. I didn't start out doing 10 trips a year like I do now, all international. I started doing one on ones with people for 2 hours or maybe a photo walk, or I would speak to three people at a local community college in one of their adult education programs. That's a really good way for people that want to test out an idea, is to start teaching at local community colleges where you don't need any kind of degree for teaching. That, or like when I was living in Southern California, the city of Newport Beach, they had these adult education programs. And so I could go test this idea. Were people interested in learning how to use their digital cameras, to learn how to develop their photographic eye? And you could test it, make your mistakes with very few people, and then little by little you grow. And that's what happened to me.
Yes, amazing. Can you share with us some challenges which you had on your way to live life of your dream and doing what you love to do?
Well, for a long time, there wasn't a whole lot of money coming in. So I had to live on some savings. I don't recommend it, but I built up some credit card debt, which wasn't ideal, but I was really glad when I got rid of that. But again, it's just testing your idea, maybe testing it on family and friends, even, but getting out there and finding out if there's a market for what you're doing. It's when people look at businesses, sometimes they think, oh, well, there's someone else that's teaching digital photography or organizing tours. And there's almost always going to be someone else doing what you want to do. You're going to have your own spin on it. But the other thing is that you don't want to have to create a market. That's very difficult, very expensive, and time consuming to do. So if there's not anyone doing what you plan on doing, that's probably a sign that perhaps there's maybe you're ahead of your time. So look for something that there is some history on. But the challenges are, getting the word out there and not having a whole lot of budget to do that. So that's where social media came in, trying to build social media following, having to learn all the new technology back 15, 20 years ago. Um, computers were relatively new, but certainly the internet and Facebook and all these things were, we had to learn all these things, how to create websites and webinars and learning that technology. And now we can hire people to do that, but it can be expensive, especially if you don't have much of a budget. So I was very intent on learning those things so that when I did have money, I would at least be able to speak the language with the people that were providing me these services. And they couldn't pull the wool over my eyes, but I could also challenge them and get the job done the way I wanted it to be done.
Yeah, yes, I agree totally that even when we hire people, we still should know what they are doing, right? We should understand what part of work we want to uh, give them to do. And when we understand, we still can have some control um, to get results which we want. Yes, thank you for sharing this. So, if people who listen to us now are in the same situation where you were, like having job, maybe having business, but feeling that it is not exactly what they like to do, and maybe they are already in their mid 40s or maybe mid 50s, what you would tell them? Because when already so many years spent in one direction, in one career, and having one business doing so many years, like studying, working there, and then this idea that change from the beginning and starting from zero. So I think some people can think that it is too much, like starting from zero at 50s or mid 40s. So what you would say from your experience?
Yes, it can be scary, especially if you have a family, you have a home, that you have mortgages and car payments and things like that. The things that I did to, because you can either make more money or you could spend less money. And those are two ways to, sort of make money. You could spend less or make more. So I, number one, was never married. I didn't have any children, so I didn't have that expense. I was living in Southern California when I started this business, one of the most expensive places in the world. But I was traveling at one point 8 or 9 months out of the year and spending rent 12 months out of the year. So I was spending rent 9 months when I wasn't even there. So I was fairly new minimalist. So before that was even a term, I guess, minimizing, getting rid of stuff, getting rid of expenses. So I went to the digital nomad lifestyle again before that was even a term that I knew of, back 15, 17 years ago. And I said, this doesn't make sense for me to be on the road that much and still pay rent somewhere 12 months. So getting expenses down was important. Again, I didn't have a family, so I didn't have to worry about kids and schools and university and things like that. But having a little bit of a nest egg is good, but again, that does give you that sort of plan B. You want to be hungry. And so I was hungry and I knew that I just had to make this thing happen, make it work. So burning those bridges. But if someone has that passion to do something, um, start researching it little by little. I don't recommend just quitting your job and, go jumping right into it right away unless, you have a little bit of a cushion, because that can be very detrimental. But testing it out and then slowly moving into it. And then when you're ready to burn the bridges, do that. And then you don't have any backup plan that, so it forces you to make it happen.
Yes, and how do you think self-esteem and believing in yourself important?
Extremely important. You have to believe that the idea you have is something that people will want, and it's something that you can deliver on, because you have to deliver. You're not going to last too long in a business where people find out very quickly that you don't know your stuff, that you're not delivering on what they paid you for. So you have to be very confident in that. So I'm a big fan of research, studying, learning, having a mentor, getting someone to help you to learn what to expect, how to overcome challenges when you face them, and you will face them. And so it's really important to have self-esteem.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And what about the importance of having mentor? You mentioned that you had mentor. How important was for you to have mentor to achieve your success?
Yeah, the truth is, I've had mentors over the years, but I can't really point to one that I had for the travel business. So I made a lot of mistakes that I probably wouldn't have needed to had I found a mentor. So at the time, 15, 17 years ago, when I started this, there weren't a lot of people doing what I'm doing. Now there's a ton of people. So the people that had travel businesses were somewhat reluctant to help someone else because they looked at it as competition. But I know the value of having a mentor from other businesses I was in. But I definitely made a lot of mistakes that could have been avoided had I had someone to show me the way. And so I think that's extremely important. I created an online course several years ago called Tour Organizer Training, where I was teaching people how to organize and lead their own tours. And that's still available, but it's not something I focus on. However, to me, this, what was then $1,000 course, was the best money you could ever spend if you were looking to get into this business. And those types of courses, something, sometimes we're reluctant to pay $1,000. Seems like a lot of money. But when I think of the hundreds of hours and tens of thousands of dollars that I spent in mistakes that I made alone, $1,000 sounds very inexpensive at that point. So don't underestimate the importance of taking courses, paying for mentorship and counselors that can help you shortcut your way to success. And I think that can be extremely important and money well spent.
Yeah, exactly. Good mentor can bring us the place where we can go alone for many, many years, and also there is no guarantee that we get there. So there is always level up and level down. So we all have to grow and constantly looking for the way how to get our results in the shortest way possible, because the biggest asset is our time. Yeah, we cannot buy time. We can make more money, but we never can buy time. And this is important to have mentors and uh, role models also. Did you have your role models?
Yeah, there were people that I looked up to that I saw were being successful that I wanted uh, be my role models. That I wanted to what do you I forget the word, but I wanted to be like them and I wanted to learn from them. The other thing is that you can go work for a company that's similar to what you want to do, like work for, I don't know, a travel company or some other company that would pay you or even intern there for free to
Mhm.
get that shortcut, get that training. The other thing that is kind of counterintuitive is that teaching whatever it is you want to learn can be very helpful too. So I was a pretty good photographer when I started out, but I was nowhere near as good as I am today. But the more I taught photography, the better I became at it too. And so you learn how to learn. And so I think it's important that, once you feel confident in yourself to teach whatever it is that you're looking to do, that can help you to learn it more quickly and to see it from the student's point of view as well.
Yeah, exactly. And you are the author of the book 60 Affirmations for Tourists. How did you come with this idea to write affirmations for tourists? What is affirmation's role in your life and in your success?
Well, actually, it's 60 affirmations for travel, and I have 60 gratitudes for travel. And this is a new series of books called The Mindful and Intentional Traveler that I've come up with. And the reason I created it is because I needed it. Back in 1980, when I was in high school and was a volunteer in Peru that I mentioned, I was a 16-year-old kid and I was with 9 other boys from my high school. And we had mentors there. There were teachers that were on the trip. And as young kids, we were longing for our parent, our mother's cooking. We wanted our own beds. We wanted to be with our friends and family. So we were kind of moaning a bit because this was the other side of the world and we were young kids. And so the teachers on that trip said something that really stuck with me until this day, and that is to be here now. They said,
Mhm,
be here now. Forget about those things back home. We are here now. Appreciate where we are and be grateful
mhm,
for this experience. So I've always had that in the back of my mind. And because I travel so much, I'm still on the road 8 or 9 months out of the year. I'm on a trip. I lead all of our trips. So I'm on a trip with a group and I'm making sure that they're experiencing the place. But I'm also working on 5 or 6 trips in the future during that trip when we have our free time or at night. So I'm constantly not present. I'm in these wonderful places, but I'm elsewhere. My mind is elsewhere. So I wrote these books because I needed them. I needed to be here now. And so gratitudes are just short nuggets of positivity that give you something to think about, to be grateful for. The affirmations are somewhat similar to that. They affirm your travels. So the idea of this series, the mindful and intentional traveler, is to be more present when you're traveling. Feel the sun on your face. Smell those smells. Taste that food. Really taste it. When I'm
mhm,
traveling, I'm either talking to people or I'm, watching the TV or the game or something, and I'm just eating because we have to eat. But I'm
mhm,
not enjoying it. It's just something that I have to do. And so
mhm,
that's what this is all about, being more mindful and intentional and being present. And I think that you're going to get so much more out of your travels if you do that. And as photographers, we're probably the worst because we spend these wonderful trips with our eye to the viewfinder of a camera. And sure, we get some nice shots and video, and we have those memories. But, I feel like, was I really there?
mhm.
Yeah, I got some beautiful pictures, but did I really experience the place? So the last tip in my first book, which is 101 tips for developing your photographic eye and more, is to put the camera down. And someone the other day said, perhaps that should have been the first tip in your book. And I think that makes a really good point that, that I say travel photography is 2 words. Spend as much time traveling as you do photographing. And I just love sitting in a cafe, having a cup of coffee, drinking a beer, watching the world go by. The more I travel, the more I appreciate those moments.
Yeah, amazing. Really be present is so important because some people so busy and they can have big goals and they ambitious and they just think what they have to do next, what they have to do next, that they forget sometimes to live in the present moment. As you said, that physically we can be somewhere, but if we're not mentally present, it means that we don't live this moment. We don't even get all this like pleasure of being in a beautiful place. Yes, all these feelings, we don't experience them. And as you said that you had your photo, but you don't remember the experience. Yes, because your body was there, but mentally you were already in your future trips. And this is how maybe people live their lives. They think that some other day they will enjoy life, and that they will live in the future when they achieve that goal. And then when they come there, then set another goal, and they think, okay, I will relax, I will enjoy life when I achieve the next goal. And then just time passes and they look back and they don't remember where they lived, right? And we it is interesting statistics that our life, if we are lucky to live till 80, is just 4,000 weeks. 4,000 weeks. So when
Yep.
we just think about this number, it is so small. And weeks just pass like those papers on the calendar, right? So quickly, 4,000 weeks. And that is still 80. Like, and many people even don't live at 80, and many people not even in that condition that they can do so many things as they do when they are 40 or 50. So yeah, it is really important to learn how to live in the present and enjoy every moment, because we don't even know how long we will live. Some people think that they will live long, and something happened that they just finish their life quickly, right? Non-unexpectedly. Or some people think that they will not live long and they live long. So it is totally not known. And only what we have is this present moment.
That's absolutely right. And back in 2018, I had realized that it had been 30 years earlier in 1988 that I went on a round the world trip. I sold my first restaurant and I took a 5-month round the world trip. And in 2018, I was thinking back, geez, it's been 30 years since that trip. My God, where did those 30 years go? So here I am, 54 at the time. I projected 30 years into the future that I would be 84. And those years are going to go even faster than the 30 that just passed. What am I going to do with these hopefully 30 years that I have left? And it really got me thinking. And now 6 years has passed since I thought that. And I can't believe where the time went. The older you get, the faster the time seems to go. And our parents have always told us that. Our older mentors have always told us that. And, they always say youth is wasted on the young. You don't realize and become appreciative of these things until you're older. And like you say,
Mhm.
who knows, if at 84, I'm even physically fit enough to be able to do anything. So don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today. And, people get hit by buses every day. And that's why in my business, I chose this business because it lets me do what I love to do every day. And so if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, I've done more than most people will ever do in their lives. And who cares how much money I've got in my bank account? So live life today. My tagline is life's too short not to travel.
Yes, amazing. Live your life today. Yes. And when you really follow your passion and do every day what you love to do, this really brings fulfillment. Yes, because success for me, it is not just some ranks or some number of, like your account in the bank, right? Like that numbers in your bank. Success for me is living fulfilled life when you have that privilege to do what you really love to do, and when you have that value to give the people. Yes, like when you give the value and you know that you can create something good in life, impact other people's life. And of course traveling is such important part of people lives. And if you can show them beautiful places, these memories is something that they take with them for all their life.
Yeah, I say I've got the best job in the world. There's no doubt about it, because I'm with people at the best time of their lives. They're on vacation. And so I love nothing more than to share these places with people and have these places make an impact on them, introduce them to these amazing people that I know in these locations, have the experiences that I've had, and taste the food and feel the feelings that I've had on previous trips or even on that trip. And I get more, I get only 5-star reviews on my trips because it's such a great experience for people and they will remember it for the rest of their lives.
Yes, amazing. I think that many people who listen our episode would like to connect to you and know more about what you do, and maybe they also would like to be in one of your tours.
That would be wonderful. People can reach out. My website is at continentaldrifter.co. You could find all my trips there under the tours tab. Everything's there. I've got upcoming trips to Antarctica, Cuba, Spain, France, Vietnam, and some wonderful places around the world. And I also have these two books that people can find on Amazon if perhaps you want to put those links in the show notes. But those can be found on Amazon: 60 Affirmations for Travel, and a book called the Travel Activity Book for Adults, and that's the Gratitudes Edition. So reach out to me there. I'm on Facebook and Twitter and all the social media outlets. So Ralph at continentaldrifter.co is my email address.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. We definitely will put your contacts in the description. And when we want to wrap up our interview, if I would ask you one advice that you would give to people from your life, from your experience, that was really important for you to understand, what would that be?
Well, we've kind of talked about it, but it's, yeah, don't wait till tomorrow because someday never comes. So really start thinking about doing things today and sooner rather than later because you just never know what position you'll be in down the road. And all we have is today. Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow isn't here yet. So live your life for today.
Yes, live your life to today, and do what you love to do and love what you do.
That's right.
Thank you, Ralph, for being with us today. And I wish you all the best and see you soon again in one of our future episodes.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Elena. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.